I had accompanied Liam Chen from the time he was a poor, insecure college student until he became a well-known figure in the tech industry. 7 days before our engagement ceremony, his childhood sweetheart Emily Chow came to see him. "Liam, my mom is sick. Her only wish is to see me get married." Even his closest friends stood by Emily's side and tried to persuade him. "Liam, Emily is like our little sister too. Just help her this once. It's only a formality. Sister-in-law won't take it to heart. When we were kids playing house, you and Emily were husband and wife anyway. Just treat it as a bit of fun." Liam fell silent for a moment, then turned to look at me. "You remember we booked that hotel for the entire day, right? Let's move our engagement ceremony to the evening." I didn't say anything. Liam didn't know that 7 days could actually be enough time to do many things, such as calling off an engagement, such as accepting my professor's offer and continuing my studies abroad, or such as letting him and me become complete strangers. It was early spring, yet Liam's words felt like a bucket of cold water poured straight over my head. Clearly, the private room was extremely warm, but I still couldn't help shivering. After he gave his consent, everyone in the room let out a sigh of relief. "See? I told you Liam definitely wouldn't refuse Emily." That's right. This time Emily didn't even dare ask Liam directly. She said she rejected him too harshly back then. "Don't be sad anymore. With Liam helping you, everything will be fine." "Enough talking. Hurry up and toast Liam." Emily stood up, picked up the wine glass on the table, and said, "Thank you, Liam, and thank you as well, Hannah." She cast me a cool, indifferent glance, and then drained the glass in one go. I sat there, stunned, my mind completely blank. The man who was supposed to get engaged to me in 7 days was going to marry another woman first. Seeing that I didn't react at all, Emily set her glass down heavily, her tone carrying a hint of displeasure. "Hannah, I know this will make you uncomfortable, but this is my mother's only wish. If you don't agree, then just pretend I never came to Liam." I raised my head and looked at her, utterly confused. "Wouldn't the others work? Why does it have to be Liam?" The atmosphere in the room suddenly turned silent. Liam's expression also grew colder. Finally, someone spoke up awkwardly. "Sister-in-law, you might not know this, but back in our hometown, people get married very early. Aside from Ryan, Zhao, and Liam, all of us brothers are already married." "Then why can't Ryan?" I cut in. "Liam is about to get engaged too." "Sister-in-law, stop mocking me. Liam is a prized son-in-law. How could I compare to him?" Ryan said irritably. "You yourself are in such a hurry to get married, aren't you?" Ryan slammed his chopsticks onto the table, as if I had deliberately humiliated him. "That's enough, Hannah," Liam said heavily. "These next few days, just focus on preparing for the engagement." As he spoke, he set his wine glass down hard on the table, and the wine splashed all over my white dress. This dress was a birthday gift for my 24th birthday. The first gift Liam ever bought me with money he earned himself. He frowned and said in a low voice, "Emily's wedding is very rushed. They probably won't be able to book a hotel in time, so we'll just hold it at the hotel we already reserved. Our engagement ceremony will be moved to the evening." I looked at Liam and suddenly felt that he was a complete stranger. The man who had been by my side since I was 19, who had shared so much love with me, who understood me, who, right after graduating from college, wanted to build a home with me, who cried like a child when I accepted his proposal half a year ago. Why was he now agreeing to marry another woman, even if that wedding was only a fake one? I hurriedly found an excuse to step outside, wanting to get some air and calm myself down. It wasn't until I entered the elevator that I realized I had rushed out so quickly that I'd forgotten my purse. When I turned back toward the door of the private room, I accidentally overheard the conversation inside. "Liam, you're my brother, so let me say this honestly. Even though it's not appropriate right now, I still have to say it." Someone continued inside. "Hannah's temperament really isn't great. If Emily had agreed to be with Liam back then, there wouldn't be any place for her now. She's dull and slow-minded, don't need to know that? Wasn't it only because she looked 7 or 8 parts similar to Emily that Liam ended up with her in the first place, right when he'd just been rejected by Emily? Similar in what way, exactly? Our Emily is smart and perceptive. If the person by Liam's side now were Emily, she would definitely be a virtuous wife. Besides, I've heard that Hannah is only getting by at school now because of her parents' reputation. She doesn't know anything at all about matters related to Liam's company. I'm telling you, the two of you should just get married for real. Stop pretending. That Hannah is truly unnecessary. All right, that's enough. Stop talking, someone said. Liam remained silent, and only then did Emily speak again, her tone clearly unwilling. Liam is soft-hearted. Miss Hannah has been by his side for so many years. Even if he doesn't love her anymore, he wouldn't have the heart to throw her away. I took a deep breath, trying hard to restrain my emotions. After a long while, I finally heard Liam's voice, low and carrying a trace of helplessness and resignation. What's in the past is already over. Emily deserves someone better. How sincere that blessing sounded, someone better. I slowly loosened my grip on the door handle, turned around, and left the hotel. Every single word spoken inside that private room kept echoing in my ears. If it weren't for today, if it weren't for this sudden accident before the engagement ceremony, 7 days from now, I would never have believed that the person I once trusted without reservation, and even envisioned marriage with, would force me to re-examine this relationship in this way. Regret? How could I not regret it? After all, he was someone I had once loved with all my courage and sincerity, someone for whom I had wholeheartedly prepared every little surprise, someone whose late nights working overtime had once brought me to tears. All of that would no longer exist. A clap of thunder sounded in the distance, and rain came pouring down. So it turned out, there could be thunder this season too. I wandered aimlessly, looking for a place to shelter from the rain. Under the narrow eaves, it was packed with people who hadn't brought umbrellas. My phone vibrated softly. It was a message from Liam. They drank too much. I've taken them back to rest first. Take care of the hotel matters right away. Don't let your parents find out. If she weren't at her wits' end, Emily wouldn't have come to me. Don't take it too much to heart. I turned off my phone screen and looked at the traffic jammed up ahead. Suddenly, I remembered a heavy rain during military training in my sophomore year. Back then, I was on my way back to the dorm when it started pouring. My roommates were all showering, and none of them answered their phones. I could only hold my head and run forward. Just as I ran past the library, someone stood in my way. I looked up and saw the top student from the software engineering department, the one who was always quiet, holding an umbrella in front of me. "Is something wrong?" he asked. Maybe because I was soaked by the rain, my voice trembled slightly. Half of his body was already wet, but he still carefully shielded me. "If you don't have an umbrella, you should find a place to take shelter first. It won't be too late to leave after the rain stops." I scratched my head and gave an awkward smile. What if the rain doesn't stop? Do I just wait forever? He raised his phone and, for once, revealed a rare smile. "Then save my number. I'll come pick you up." But around that time, rumors had already started spreading on campus that Liam liked me. When we chose classes, he always picked a seat behind me. During roll call, he always made me the last one. Whenever I had a performance, he was always there watching, and after it ended, he would quietly leave. Still, I always believed that if a guy liked you but never said it out loud, then he simply didn't like you enough. I don't know where he found the courage, but one day I suddenly asked Liam directly, "Do you like me?" He looked at me, his eyes sparkling like stars. "Then, can I pursue you?" I stared at him blankly, my palms slick with sweat. I often asked myself when I had started loving Liam. It probably wasn't when he answered every professor's question smoothly in class, nor when he wore a white shirt on the basketball court and scored the highest points of the game, and certainly not when I took a day off from class. Everyone else already had their own discussion groups, and I was the only one left behind, only for him to be the one who suggested forming a group with me. It was that day instead. The sunset was especially beautiful. I saw his name appear on the honor board, and I didn't rush to leave. I took out my phone to take a photo, thinking about what excuse I could use to send it to him. When Tina Shu found out that Liam and I were together, she was a little surprised at first, then just snorted and laughed. "Hannah, it's your first love. Don't take it too seriously. There are plenty of men in this world." I tilted my head and wrote 3 clear words on my face, "So in love it hurts." Tina knocked me lightly on the head without any mercy. Young lady, you yourself are one of a kind too, you know. Yes, I wasn't anyone's substitute. I was unique as well. Cold raindrops lashed against my face, mixing with tears that slid down my neck. My phone vibrated again. It was Ryan Zhao. He sent me a video along with a single line of text. Don't you think you're really unnecessary? Inside the dim car, Emily Chow was leaning against Liam's shoulder, her eyes red and swollen. Liam, what am I supposed to do? What should I do? Liam gently stroked her hair and comforted her softly. Don't be afraid. I'll be here with you. Whatever difficulties there are, we'll face them together. But you're about to get engaged. You're about to marry someone else. You won't care about me anymore. You won't need me anymore. I won't abandon you. You've had too much to drink. It seemed they had deliberately left the back seat empty just for Liam and Emily, so they could confide in each other freely. I clutched my chest and forced myself to breathe in the cold air, the chill sieging my airway. Emily coquettishly rubbed her head against Liam's neck without saying anything more. Liam looked slightly startled, his eyes widening, yet he didn't push her away. One by one, the people sheltering from the rain beside me were picked up. In the end, I was the only one left, waiting for the rain to stop. The 4 seasons may repeat, and rain will always fall again. But I knew that the sincere feelings once given in that torrential rain had long since been soaked through and faded away. I took out my phone and contacted the hotel manager, who was also my close friend. Tina, help me cancel the engagement ceremony. Cancel the engagement. I opened my mouth, but even speaking felt difficult. Yeah, Liam wants to marry someone else first. The line went silent for a moment. The next second, Tina spoke calmly. Where are you? I'll come pick you up. A flashy pink supercar pulled up in front of me. The moment I got in, Tina started scolding nonstop. I told you a long time ago, what's so great about men anyway? You just had to throw yourself in. Tell me, aside from his face, what's so good about Liam? Pouring you warm water? Buying you barbecue in the middle of the night? Anyone can do that. There's nothing special about it. But I think you're the rare one, being moved to the point of living and dying over such trivial things. If you like handsome guys, tonight I'll take you to fine male models. 10 out of 8 will be obedient and loyal. What's there to regret? As long as there's money, I'm not short on men. I curled my lips slightly and replied calmly. Yeah, I don't need Liam anymore. Tell the hotel to go ahead and host a wedding for them. The money's already at their doorstep, why not take it? As for my engagement ceremony, cancel it. Tina glanced at me, a little worried. Do your parents know? I heard my dad say your grandfather and uncle have already set off. They know. After watching the video Ryan sent me, I called them. Their reaction was as calm as ever. If you find out you're incompatible before marriage, just treat it as a small incident and resolve it lightly. All night long, Liam didn't contact me at all. He didn't come home. Of course, he also didn't notice that I was no longer there. As for where he had been the entire night, I didn't ask. I thought that matter no longer had anything to do with me. I opened the profile photo of my academic advisor, and the previous message thread was still his long, detailed lecture encouraging me to continue my studies abroad. He said he could help introduce me to the best laboratory in the world in this field if I still wanted to continue on the path of scientific research. I replied seriously, yes, I hope I won't disappoint you. The professor quickly helped arrange everything, and the supervising professor, also an old friend of his, handled the coordination. The plane ticket was booked. 6 days later, I would be leaving, on the exact day Liam and Emily were holding their wedding ceremony. The next day, I returned to the apartment, but Liam still hadn't come back. I packed my things one by one, throwing away what needed to be discarded and keeping what was worth keeping. After tidying up the spacious apartment, all I had left in my hands was a small suitcase, even less than when I had moved in 3 months earlier. I took a watch out of the cabinet. It was the one I had bought to wear on our engagement day. One for Liam, one for me, but I hadn't even had the chance to give his to him yet. Miss Hannah, isn't this the watch you just bought a few days ago? The sales associate asked, eyes wide. Is it because your husband doesn't like it? She looked worried that I might be dissatisfied with her service. We have many other styles. Would you like to take a look? I shook my head. No need, please help me return it. She looked conflicted. But it's already past the free return period. You might lose some money. It's okay, I said calmly. Sunk costs shouldn't affect an important decision. The shopping mall was bustling. As I passed by a jewelry store, I suddenly heard a familiar voice, tinged with a bit of complacency. If you like something, just take it. It was Liam's voice. Emily lowered her eyes slightly, staring at the jewelry in the display case, as if lost in thought. Liam, we're only getting married for show, even though, according to tradition, we have to buy all 5 gold pieces so my mom can feel at ease. I won't actually take them with me. What are you planning to do with these later? Liam gave a faint smile and gestured for the staff to take out all the jewelry. Hannah will need them too when she gets married. It won't be wasted. As he was helping Emily choose a gold bracelet, he happened to look up and saw me standing by the entrance. A flicker of panic flashed through his eyes. Hannah? Why are you here? He walked toward me. I casually pointed in a random direction and made up an excuse without thinking. I came to buy some food. Liam let out a sigh of relief and gently rubbed my head. If you want to eat something, just tell me. No matter how busy the company is, I can't let my wife go hungry. I glanced at Emily, who was trying on the gold bracelet, and said nothing. Liam patiently explained, back home, there's a wedding tradition. The groom has to buy the 5 gold pieces for the bride. Since we've decided to put on this act, we have to see it through. That's why I brought Emily here to choose jewelry, right? Tomorrow or the day after, I'll also have to take her to try on wedding dresses. There shouldn't be any issues on the engagement side, right? If you can't handle it, just call me. I shook my head. There's no problem. Really, no problem at all. After all, even the engagement ceremony no longer existed. Maybe because I was too calm, Liam paused slightly, his expression turning unpleasant. Hannah, are you angry? We already agreed, if there's anything, we talk about it directly. We don't make the other person guess. I looked straight into his eyes. You're just helping your little sister. What do I have to be angry about? Liam frowned slightly, trying to find even the slightest trace of a lie on my face, but unfortunately there was none. Hearing that, Emily looked up at me and said casually, Then I'll thank you in advance, Hannah. There wasn't a hint of gratitude on her face. If anything, she looked as though it was only natural. I couldn't be bothered to pay her any attention. I casually found an excuse. I need to go back to campus for something. You two can keep strolling. The remaining time was for me to prepare my study abroad application materials. There wasn't much time left, only 4 days until I left the country. Then I suddenly remembered that my passport was still in Liam's study. Just half a month ago, we had been discussing how, after the engagement, we would find time to travel abroad together. The moment I stepped out of the elevator, I saw that the apartment door was wide open. Emily was inside alone, decorating the place. A large, bright red double happiness character hung in the living room, so glaring it hurt my eyes. Everywhere the photos of Liam and me together had been tossed messily onto the floor. Even the pair of matching mugs we'd made back in college with our photos printed on them now lay silently in the trash can. I'm sorry. I thought you weren't living here anymore, Emily said. She said she was sorry, but there wasn't the slightest hint of remorse on her face. On the contrary, she looked as if it were only natural. So if I'm not here, you can just throw my things away as you please? I looked at her, full of doubt. She frowned, visibly annoyed, as though I were the one bothering her. It's just a fake marriage. Don't be so sensitive. If these things stay here, my mom will find out. Please try to be understanding. I don't want to cause trouble for either of you, she added, yet she was still holding a photo frame in her hands. It was the picture Tina had taken of the moment Liam proposed to me. I had once thought it was the most beautiful photo of my life, which was why I'd bought a frame just for it. Emily casually loosened her grip. The frame fell to the floor, the glass shattering into pieces. That startled me. Why is this frame so heavy? What was that noise? What happened? There was commotion outside as a group of people walked in. When they saw me, they suddenly fell silent. Hi, sister-in-law. You're back already? Liam will be here in a bit. We rang the doorbell, but no one answered, so we entered the passcode ourselves. Emily's mom will be coming by later before heading to the hotel, so we redecorated a little. Don't worry, we'll definitely put everything back the way it was afterward. I looked at Emily and suddenly felt curious. If Liam didn't have money, would she still have looked for him to enter a fake marriage? She said she didn't want to trouble others, yet every word she spoke and everything she did caused trouble at every turn. The living room was so quiet I could hear the ticking of the clock hands. Everyone looked at each other, clearly not expecting me to be angry. For a long while, no one dared to speak. Emily bit her lip tightly, as if she'd been terribly humiliated. If it weren't for my mom, do you think I'd be standing here letting you humiliate me? Tears fell from her eyes, one drop after another, making her look pitiful. Sister-in-law, what are you doing? We already agreed on everything. That's right. Liam and Emily will register their marriage, and once it's done, they'll divorce immediately. I wondered if I'd heard wrong and raised my voice slightly. Register the marriage? Yes, didn't Liam tell you? Someone replied. Emily has a cousin aunt who works at the Civil Affairs Bureau. She's always competing with Emily's mom. When she heard Emily was getting married, she immediately went to check her husband's information. If there's no marriage certificate, Emily's mom will definitely get suspicious. So don't worry, sister-in-law. Once the wedding is over, they'll divorce right away and return Liam to you completely intact. Registering a marriage and then divorcing. What a wonderfully intact life he was living. Ryan shot me an impatient glance. Hannah, what do you have to be angry about? We've all heard Liam say that in a few days he'll be signing a major contract. You're really lucky to have found such a good man like him. You should be grateful and burn some incense in thanks. We value loyalty here. There's no way he could just abandon Emily. You've already benefited so much. Don't make things harder for Liam anymore. I laughed. Benefited how? How exactly have I bullied Emily in all of this? Wasn't I the only victim here? You can treat marriage like a joke among yourselves, but on my side, I can't. Hannah, they're your friends. I hadn't even finished speaking when Liam was already standing at the door, cutting me off coldly, yet the look he gave me was full of disappointment. They're just a few photos. You can always take new ones later. As for registering the marriage, you understand this situation better than anyone, so there's no need to get so worked up about it. You need to understand that if it weren't for Emily, I cut him off with an icy voice. If it weren't for her, would you never have pursued me at all? We wouldn't have been together in the first place, right? It was clearly already April. Clearly the warm sunlight was pouring into the living room, yet I felt so cold I was trembling all over. So this was it, when the truth was spoken out loud by Liam himself, and I had to hear it with my own ears. It was this unbearable. Hannah, I don't want to argue with you, he said. Go back to campus first and calm down. I'll come pick you up later. I went straight into the study to get my passport. Pick me up? What a joke. The elevator was slow to arrive, so I had to stand by the door a little longer. Or maybe, just forget it. Emily's voice rang out softly from the living room. She quietly let a single cold tear fall and spoke gently. You just had to take care of Miss Hannah's emotions, and tomorrow you still have to go home with me to see my mom. That's so exhausting. Why does my mom have to be so demanding? Why does she say she can't trust anyone except you? Ryan carefully patted Emily on the shoulder. Your aunt has watched Liam grow up since he was a kid. Of course she trusts him the most. Don't blame yourself anymore. Liam's voice dropped, the same way he used to comfort me. It's okay. Your aunt is just worried about you. If I can help even a little, as long as she's happy, that's enough. But sister-in-law hardly ever gets angry, he added. Maybe lately she's been busy preparing for graduation and the engagement at the same time. Too many things at once. Once we're done handling things here, I'll go explain everything to her. Liam deliberately spoke in a gentle tone, trying to smooth things over so everyone would move past the awkwardness. Is that so? Liam really understands sister-in-law the best. Yeah, we were worried she'd make things hard for you. Make things hard? She probably loves you too much to even think about that. Ha ha ha. The others quickly echoed along. Getting married right after graduation, if it were any other woman, I truly wouldn't be able to accept it. It would mean having no sense of self-worth at all. Emily frowned slightly, her tone carrying a trace of disdain. Some people want to be full-time homemakers, you know. Do you think everyone is like you, wanting to shoulder the whole world by yourself? She lifted her chin, delicate and elegant like a swan, proudly declaring that women should be independent and self-reliant. And yet, in the end, the living room was filled with laughter and chatter. Even Liam's secretary, who always followed him, couldn't help but speak up and remind him, "President Chen, what about Miss Hannah over there?" Only after a moment did Liam slowly respond, "No, she wouldn't dare. Once this is all taken care of, I'll make it up to her properly." I curled my lips into a faint smile, but as I kept smiling, I didn't know why tears quietly fell. So this was how Liam saw me. Because after 6 years of love, we were finally about to reach a perfect ending. Because news of the engagement had already spread everywhere. Because he believed I wouldn't find anyone better than him, so I wouldn't dare break up. He had even already thought through how to compensate me, how to placate me. Yet it had never crossed his mind that I wouldn't get engaged to him at all anymore. A lifetime has many spans of 6 years. As long as I live well, I don't have to care about other people's gazes. As for Liam, if it weren't because I once liked him, men with conditions hundreds or thousands of times better than his are people I could have married too. Only after everything for Emily's wedding had been arranged did Liam finally realize that I hadn't been home at all these past few days. He got into his car and drove to the university. Standing beneath the tree in front of the dormitory, his silhouette was stretched long by the light behind him. His refined, scholarly features still drew quite a few glances. When he saw me walking over from the shadowed path, the coldness on his face from the past few days finally softened into a faint smile. "Are you really angry?" I was holding the study abroad documents I just signed. I lowered my head slightly and shook it gently. Liam rubbed the bridge of his nose, looking utterly exhausted. "Hannah, these past few days have been really tiring for me. There's a lot going on at the company too. If you're unhappy, you need to tell me. I'll comfort you." "There's nothing of yours left in the apartment anymore," he added. "Not a single one of your dresses in the closet." I looked up at him calmly. "There actually isn't much to prepare for an engagement. The school has been rushing my thesis lately, so I just brought a few outfits back to the dorm to change into." "Didn't you say that if we're acting, we should do it thoroughly? Leaving clothes in the closet would make it easy for people to find out." Liam stared at me for a few seconds. Only when he saw that I showed no sign of guilt did he speak again. "I told you already, how could you not need me? Slow down, Hannah. I'm just too worried about you." "Worried about me?" I tugged the corner of my lips but couldn't smile. "Right, where's that dress of yours?" he suddenly asked. "I remember it got dirty that day. Let me wash it for you." He still wore the same gentle, considerate expression as before, yet all I felt was disgust. I threw it away. Liam frowned immediately. "Why would you throw it away? Didn't you cherish that dress the most?" "I don't need it anymore." His mouth parted slightly, his tone gradually softening, as if coaxing me. "It's okay. Whatever my wife says goes. We'll buy another one next time." I lowered my head and said nothing more. His gaze slowly settled on the stack of documents in my hands. "Don't let yourself get too tired. Take good care of yourself. If you can write this thesis, then write it. If you can't, then forget it. I'll support you for the rest of your life." What a viciously sweet form of consolation, I thought to myself. The phone rang at just the right moment. Liam answered the call and hurried off. After confirming things, he seemed much more at ease. He could go back to being busy with his fake wedding again. In fact, Tina had already called me earlier and said that Liam had contacted her that afternoon to confirm the engagement procedures. She had handled it deftly. "We'll definitely do our best to organize your engagement ceremony perfectly. Just leave it to me." Thinking of this, I was certain Tina wouldn't let him off easily. On the last day before I left, I was packing my luggage when my phone kept receiving unfamiliar messages, one after another. They were all photos of Emily in wedding dresses. "Miss Hannah, which wedding dress do you think I should wear tomorrow to look best?" Even if the wedding was fake, it was true that Liam had once liked me, and it was also true that he had meticulously prepared a wedding for me. To be honest, I really didn't think much of her. Just graduated, and already wanting to rely on a man for the rest of her life. I was too lazy to even open the photos. I simply replied, "Miss Chow, you've been married since college. Choosing which wedding dress suits you probably isn't something you need to ask me about, right? As for relying on men, your second time choosing a rich man is for your mother. The first time you chose a rich man wasn't because of your grades, was it?" I didn't need to spend any effort investigating Emily's past to know it clearly. She was always talking about becoming a strong, independent woman, yet in her senior year of college, she rushed into marrying a newly licensed lawyer. After divorcing him, she discovered that his money was all property divided from his ex-wife, and he didn't even have a proper lawsuit to his name. In the end, Emily divorced him, but strangely enough, this time, that lawyer was much more clear-headed and didn't let her take advantage of him at all. "Stop pretending to be tough," she replied. "Do you believe that all I need to do is curl my finger and Liam will come running right over? Why did she still need to come in front of me just to show off? What exactly was she afraid of?" The phone stayed silent for a long time. I could easily imagine how ugly her expression must look right now. Letting out a quiet, cold laugh, I blocked that number. I thought back to when we were preparing for the engagement. Liam had once wrapped his arms around me and talked endlessly about all sorts of things, like how two people shouldn't share the same pair, or how meeting before the engagement day was considered unlucky. I had even laughed at him, teasing that he was an honors graduate, yet still believed in such superstitions. But when I saw him appear at my door, I finally understood that the things he believed in so absolutely could all be broken, because Emily was also a woman. "Why do you have to speak so harshly?" Liam said. "Emily genuinely wants to be friends with you. That's why she showed you her wedding dress. She even meant well, wanting to give you some reference for the future." He didn't even bother to verify anything with me. In his eyes, there was only Emily's grievance. "You're 5'8". She's 5'3". What exactly do you need to take reference from?" I said flatly. He immediately frowned. "Hannah, why can't you understand what I mean? She just wants to find an opportunity to thank you. I know you don't like her, but she's just a bit too straightforward. You should try to get to know her." Then he paused and added, "If it weren't for the fact that we're getting engaged tomorrow, I'd think we need to seriously reconsider this relationship." I looked at his face and suddenly felt like crying. There are so many spans of 6 years in a lifetime, so why did I give 6 of mine to someone like him? On those long nights when I was exhausted to the point of collapse, the person he worried about was another woman. Seeing my silence, Liam finally realized what he had just said. He took a deep breath. "Hannah, I didn't mean that. You're the person I've decided on for my whole life. I just hope you can accept my friends, because they're the people who went through the hardest times with me." I nodded slightly, as if to say I'd heard him, but I had only heard him, nothing more. After Liam left, I wandered alone around the residential complex for a long time. The night wind was a little cold, blowing until my eyes stung. I didn't know how long Tina had been standing at the gate. From afar, she waved at me. "What are you spacing out for?" I smiled. "Why are you here? You're leaving tomorrow. How could I not come say goodbye properly?" She pulled me into the convenience store across the street, ordered a few skewers of Odin, and amid the constant flow of people outside, we sat in front of the large glass window, listening to the soft chime of the wind bell by the door. "Hannah," she said, "don't hurt yourself over someone else's mistakes. And don't torture yourself day and night, blaming yourself. Forcing or controlling someone can't change a rotten person. Advice, or even long years together, can't make him change either. So from now on, don't ever make that kind of man the person you marry. You will always deserve the very best." How could Tina not be the one who understood me the most? She knew that no one could easily end a relationship that lasted 6 years. I was no exception. When I finally understood that he chose me only because the woman he loved most wasn't accepted by her mother due to poverty, that he liked me only because I looked like Emily, that he wanted to get engaged to me only because I had stayed by his side all these years, and never because I was me, I had never felt so defeated and suffocated. I was just one step away from falling into a vortex of self-doubt with no way out. Fortunately, my life had never contained only Liam. That night, for the first time, I opened the letter of recommendation my professor had written for me. "She is my most outstanding student," it read. "She is thoughtful and serious in her work. I hope you will nurture her well, give her space to grow. If there's anything she hasn't done well, guide her gently. Don't scold her. She has come a very long way on her own to get here." Sitting at my desk, a powerful sense of courage welled up inside me, enough to keep walking forward on the path ahead. Early the next morning, I boarded a flight to Germany. The journey was long, but fortunately, the girl sitting next to me was petite and adorable. She didn't talk much, but we got along easily. She was a blogger with a modest following, studying abroad, with a boyfriend she'd been with for 3 years, still waiting back home. I checked out her account and flipped through her posts. Honestly, they were quite interesting. The plane pierced through the clouds and slowly descended onto the runway. From this moment on, the wins I had once missed were now all part of what lay behind me. There was nothing to regret and nothing not to regret. "Hannah, I'll head out first," she said. "Let's meet up when you're free." I nodded. "Okay. Travel safe." Life in the lab left me no room to breathe. Every day I was surrounded by piles of papers and endless data. The slightest lapse in focus, and I couldn't even hear what the professor was saying. Anyone could go crazy under such relentless deadlines. Tina was always worried that being abroad alone, I'd sink back into the past. She was overthinking it. I barely even had time to sleep. After finishing experiments, I'd be completely drained by the time I walked home. The shops along the road were all closed, so I could only cook for myself. After taking the first bite, I nearly cried at how bad it tasted. Occasionally, when I had some free time, I'd ask Natalie out. The two of us would hold cups of pumpkin spice coffee and stroll along red brick paths. The old buildings, tinted by autumn, looked incredibly warm. I had thought we were just passing acquaintances, but unexpectedly we became kindred spirits, able to talk about anything and everything. Time slipped through my fingers like water. In the blink of an eye, more than half a year had passed. Maybe because I was too busy to replay the memories of that terrible period, I couldn't even clearly remember anymore how badly it had once broken me. Instead, I only felt regret for having wasted so much time on it. After the wedding with Emily ended, Liam was dealing with Emily's parents while constantly checking his phone. Since 7 days ago, he hadn't received a single message that Hannah had sent on her own initiative. A sudden unease rose in his chest. Unable to restrain himself, he pulled his arm away from Emily's and walked to a corner of the room to call Hannah. "Sorry, the number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later." "Sorry, the number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later." "Sorry, the number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later." 3 calls in a row, no answer. Liam finally realized something was wrong. He hurriedly contacted the hotel manager, not daring to ask Hannah's parents directly, afraid of arousing suspicion. "No, not at all. Miss Hannah was just confirming the evening arrangements with us a little while ago. Try calling again later." At that moment, Tina was editing the wedding video she just filmed, preparing a big surprise to give Liam that evening. Only then did Liam feel somewhat reassured. He thought he was worrying for nothing. After all, she was Hannah. She wouldn't just stand by and do nothing. Over the past few days, Liam hadn't slept a single full night. He had been reorganizing every photo he'd taken with Hannah, arranging them chronologically along the timeline of their years together. Every single one was a moment they had shared, carefully preserved in his phone. At first, he admitted that the reason he had noticed Hannah was because of Emily. He had even deliberately tried to find angles when taking photos that made her look the most like Emily. But little by little, his feelings changed. Hannah always remained calm. The way she spoke and acted was orderly, never rushed. Even when she was late for class, she would walk in composedly, calmly accept her punishment, and nothing more. Later, she stayed at the university to pursue graduate studies, while he chose the path of entrepreneurship. Whenever he felt tense or anxious, it was always Hannah who stayed by his side. "It's okay. You're still so young. Slower progress is normal." Look, you did faster today than yesterday. I knew it, you can definitely do it. Everyone has their own season to bloom. See, my junior's thesis got praised by the professor while I was told not to include my advisor's name in the acknowledgments. Liam, trust your own instincts and judgment, you'll make it. Every time he came back from business dinners, there would be medicine she had prepared in advance in his pocket. Every time he got home, the fridge would be stocked with the freshest fruit, with a cute sticky note listing the vitamin intake for the day. Today, he had only casually mentioned that he didn't want to eat takeout, and she had already carried a homemade meal from campus to his office. He thought that once Emily's situation was settled, he would definitely make it up to Hannah properly. But by the time the engagement ceremony began, he still hadn't seen Hannah anywhere. Liam's mind went blank. He walked around the banquet hall again and again. Hannah didn't come. Her family didn't come. Her friends didn't come. Then the large screen behind them suddenly lit up, playing a newly edited wedding video. In the video, he was smiling brightly, and Emily looked even happier. So the future Mrs. Chen is her? She kind of looks similar, but also not really. Keep watching, this is our future boss's wife? Doesn't really look that alike. But who knows, men aren't reliable. Maybe she'll be replaced someday. Forget it, we're just employees. Why care so much? Another piece of evidence that men can't be trusted. Liam rushed madly toward the control room. Where is Hannah? Turn it off. Turn it off right now. Where is Hannah? Tina stood at a distance with her arms crossed, coldly watching the man who was losing his mind. Didn't she come to see you earlier? Wasn't everything already arranged properly? Liam clearly remembered that when they had come to book the hotel, Tina herself had been the one to receive them. Tina pointed at the big screen that was still playing. That's right. Everything was arranged properly. Isn't the wedding very lively? I'm talking about the engagement tonight, Liam said hoarsely. Tina let out a cold laugh. Since when does anyone get married to one person at noon, and then get engaged to another person in the evening? The head on your shoulders isn't just for decoration, it's for thinking. Could it be that from the very beginning, she never intended to come? He staggered back 2 steps. So from the very beginning, she never intended to come. Liam suddenly looked up as if realizing something at last, then bolted out of the hotel. He ran to Hannah's place and rang the doorbell for a long time, but no one answered. It turned out her parents had boarded a plane back to Beijing on the very day she left the country to visit her grandfather. He kept calling that familiar number over and over, but it wouldn't connect. He tried calling from another number, still nothing. Liam wandered the streets in a daze, even forgetting where he had parked his car. A premonition rose in his heart that Hannah might never appear again. Suddenly, his phone vibrated. He hurriedly answered without even checking the caller ID. Mr. Chen, it's me, your partner. There's a problem with the shipment sent to Beijing. They were supposed to come over to discuss a solution, but now they're not coming anymore. They're demanding compensation, otherwise they'll sue. How could this happen? At first, they were coming because of their niece's engagement. They were in a good mood and willing to negotiate. But a few days ago, when the engagement was cancelled, they stopped coming and refused to negotiate. Mr. Chen, if we have to pay compensation and breach of contract penalties, I'm afraid our capital chain will break. How can they be so arbitrary? Their niece didn't get engaged? At that point, Liam suddenly remembered what Hannah had once told him, that her father was from Nanjing, her mother was from Beijing, but she herself had grown up in Nanjing, and that for this engagement, her grandfather and uncle would be coming. When Liam returned home, the red double happiness character in the living room hadn't even been taken down yet. Emily was sitting on the sofa, carrying herself like the mistress of the house. Seeing Liam come back, she hurriedly stood up and walked over, pretending to be concerned. I've heard about everything already. I'm sorry, I still ended up affecting the two of you. She stood up too quickly and bumped into the low table, knocking her handbag to the floor. A hospital MRI report slipped out, the date on it clearly marked 5 days ago. Liam froze as he bent down to pick it up, staring at it for a long moment. 5 days ago, he and Emily hadn't even registered their marriage yet. Emily, She reflexively snatched the paper back from his hand and forced a smile. "Oh, I forgot to tell you. It turns out my mom just had a small cyst. I guess there really is a blessing in disguise, right, Liam? Don't you think so?" Liam lowered his head, no one knowing what he was thinking. "Emily, you did this on purpose, didn't you?" he suddenly said. His voice was colder than it had ever been. "Liam, go file for the divorce right now. If you don't, Hannah really won't want me anymore." Liam abruptly tightened his grip around Emily's wrist, his eyes bloodshot. "Liam, it's the middle of the night. Where are you going to get divorced? The Civil Affairs Bureau isn't even open. Besides, there's still time to think things through before divorcing." "I can't calm down," he said hoarsely. "I really can't calm down right now." But Emily, who hadn't even had time to remove her bridal makeup from earlier that day, had already rushed over to find him. At this moment, her face was smeared with tears and snot. "Liam, Hannah is gone. She won't turn back. Since you've already registered the marriage, just live well. I don't care about those ceremonies anymore. And my mom has agreed now too, Liam?" Liam stiffened. Emily thought he was wavering, so she gently hugged him from behind. "Liam, you focus on making money. I'll take good care of you. I'll make our little family warm and happy. I can wake up at 6 every morning to make soup for you. Isn't my soup your favorite?" "Emily," Liam said coldly, "do you know this is marriage by deception?" Early the next morning, Liam sat waiting in front of Hannah's dorm building. His tie was crooked, hanging loosely around his neck, and he looked utterly disheveled. When he saw Hannah's roommate, he immediately rushed over. "Where's Hannah?" "We're not sure. It seems she went to a lab overseas. She didn't tell us the details." "You could ask her best friend. She runs a hotel. She even came by yesterday to help Hannah move her things. We don't have her phone number, and even if we did, we couldn't just give it to you." Liam drove in a daze to find Hannah's best friend, only then realizing it was Tina. Standing on the hotel steps, Tina looked down at him from above. "Brother, she changed her number precisely because she doesn't want to hear your explanation." Liam fell silent for a moment, then suddenly laughed. "I knew it. I knew I'd get my retribution sooner or later. I should have known from the start. Why did I ever agree to this fake marriage?" Tina glanced at him with undisguised contempt and gave a cold, mocking smile. "Relax, there's no retribution here. You just need to understand one thing. You missed the highest point of your life. Opportunities given by fate don't come twice. She was the unlucky one, running into this ill-fated relationship with you. And the peak of your life was having her in it. You and her were never meant to intersect. You were parallel lines that should never have crossed." He wasn't worthy of any good woman at all. Not a single sentence mentioned retribution, yet every single word was retribution itself. In the blink of an eye, half a year had passed. I had completely adapted to life in the laboratory. When Tina mentioned Liam again, she told me that his company was almost bankrupt. Even after the divorce, Emily still hoped she could get back together with him. I only smiled and told her that I would be returning home in 2 weeks. My mom was about to retire, and I needed to go back to attend the appreciation ceremony the school was holding for her. I just hadn't expected to run into Liam again right at the school gate. In just over half a year, he had lost a lot of weight. There was no trace left of the refined, elegant demeanor he once had. "Hannah, you finally came back," he said hoarsely, his eyes red. "I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. Please give me another chance, okay? I admit that at first I approached you because of Emily, but later on, I truly liked you. My heart was really taken away you." I took 2 steps back and looked at him calmly. "It doesn't matter anymore. Whether you were wrong or not, whether you liked me or not, it has nothing to do with me now. As for chances, there are some lessons that only need to be learned once. If there's nothing else, I'll be going." "Hannah, after all these years together, don't you feel any regret?" he pressed. "I already know I was wrong. Why can't you just let the past go?" Hearing that, I only gave a faint smile. "I let those things go a long time ago. The only one who hasn't let go is you." Liam swayed slightly, his face turning pale. His lips moved, but he couldn't say a single word. That night, Tina sent me a video. Liam still couldn't forget me, while his company continued to decline. Emily decided to gamble everything on one final move. She stitched together several childhood photos into a post, telling the story of their childhood sweetheart romance. They had once walked together down narrow country paths, shared the naive winds of their high school years, and had been the golden couple everyone approved of. But because they went to different universities, the male lead was pursued by a rich heiress. That heiress forced the loving couple to divorce, and even destroyed the company the male lead had built with so much hardship. After that, she spent money like water to enter an overseas laboratory. In the video, my photo appeared, my face blurred so lightly it was almost non-existent. "We hope the heiress can spare us and stop using illegal methods to suppress us," the caption read. "We just want to live an ordinary life." At the end of the video, Emily's eyes brimmed with tears. In the comments, an employee of 5 years leaked some gossip. The heiress is actually the one who went through thick and thin with the boss, building the company from nothing. And yet, before the engagement, the boss secretly held a wedding with his childhood sweetheart. Do you think that's insane? Isn't this like a novel come to life? But wasn't the childhood sweetheart's mom really sick? "This is the company I used to work for. Her mom will probably live longer than any of us." Leaving everything else aside, are you saying the heiress had to spend money just to get into a lab abroad? Is that really the hardest thing? Listen to yourself. If even an heiress works that hard, how dare I lie around in my dorm? Someone carry me to the lab right now. Trying to steer public opinion without investigating first? Another comment read. After watching this video, does it erase all the bad karma I've accumulated in my life? Emily hurriedly commented under the video. But shouldn't personal feelings be kept separate from business? Can you really let her family suppress a small company like ours just because of personal matters? She glanced at me and then drained her glass of wine. Here's to love and business being kept separate. Someone without morals standing on the moral high ground. If it were me, I would definitely make them pay back both principal and interest. Originally, Liam's company could have held on for a few more months thanks to several small contracts, but after Emily's performance, both large and small companies alike no longer wanted to cooperate with him at all. After that day, Liam never appeared in front of me again. I heard that he stood downstairs at my place all night, but unfortunately, my parents had already taken me back to Beijing that day. My vacation was very short. I still had important people to see. A week later, I boarded a plane back to Germany. Life went on like this. Even though I failed again and again in the lab, I still maintained my curiosity and courage toward life. In countless moments of sinking, there was always a boat sailing toward the distant horizon. 1 year later, while browsing online, I saw a piece of news. Ex-wife grabs steering wheel, ex-husband seriously injured. In the video, only the names Liam and Emily were mentioned. The accident scene looked quite horrific, but at the time, I was attending a top-tier academic conference and didn't have the time to look closely. More importantly, I was the only woman at this conference. I had to figure out how to prove myself in my field, how to show everyone the rise of women within this industry. I wanted to become the North Star. I wanted to become a trumpet vine climbing ever upward. Love is only a small corner of life, but loving oneself is something that should extend across an entire lifetime. I wish myself strength. I wish myself resilience. How long can a heart survive when love slowly turns into self-betrayal? Love and Lies story.